So in this video I'm going to be showing you how I managed to modify a SAP 6 detachable magazine to fit my Valtro PM5, which is the same thing as the Brixia models. What we have right here is a genuine original box-fed mag for the shotgun. They are typically a 7-round magazine, and they are generally really expensive here in Canada. I think these tend to go for around $120 Canadian, and they're a little bit rare to find. I purchased all my magazines from westrifle.ca. And then what we have here is a SAP 6 magazine. This is a Turkish magazine designed to work in a Turkish pump action shotgun, just like the Valtro here, are fairly similar. That model does come with 6-round mags, I believe, but then they do produce this what is advertised to be an 11-round magazine. However, I kind of think they're actually a 10-round magazine. I haven't counted yet, but I don't think I was able to squeeze 11 into this. These magazines can be had from Tactical Imports website, and they tend to go for around $60–80 or so, I believe. Right now, at the time of this video, Tactical Imports doesn't seem to have these in stock, but I'm sure that'll change in the future. So yeah, the main reason why I modified this to fit my shotgun is I do use this shotgun for 3-gun competitions, and it is a significant advantage to, get those extra 3 or 4 rounds into the shotgun just for a time advantage. And then the other advantage too of modifying these to fit is if I break these or damage them, they are just a $60, $80 magazine, opposed to the super rare $120 plus mags for the actual gun. So the modifications I had to do to this SAP 6 mag to make it work in the Valtro is I had to adjust the tabs or fabricate new tabs for it, and then I also had to modify the follower a bit. So here you can see a genuine Valtro mag. You can see it has one tab on the front, and it has a tab on the back, just like a lot of AK style guns, just because these do rock and lock like an AK. You can see the follower on it is very much just really simple. It's just kind of a cylinder, and it protrudes out the top of the magazine quite a ways. Now, here's what original SAP 6 mag looks like. So you can see it does have a tab on the back, but it's quite different in design, and it has no tab on the front. The other big difference is the follower. You can see right here the follower is very much hollowed. It's kind of more concave on the top, and then it also angles quite a ways up at the front. Here's the mag. Here's the SAP 6 mag that I modified. So you can see I fabricated a rear tab on it that looks very similar to the original, and you can see I fabricated a big tab on the front as well. Then you can see I also modified the follower. So it still sweeps up a little higher than the original, but you can see I got rid of a bunch of the material there, so the shell sits lower in the magazine. And unfortunately, I couldn't do much about the back here. The back is still very concave, and we just noticed now that that does eliminate the feature that the original mag has. The original mags, when the follower gets to the top, the bolt hits it, and it acts like a bolt, kind of last round hold open. Where on the SAP 6 mag, I see the bolt does still close on it. So the bolt closes on an empty SAP 6 mag, unfortunately. So I'll have to be counting my shots in the competitions. The reason why I had to lower the overall position of the shot shell in the follower was to make it so it sits lower in the chamber of the shotgun. Because what I was noticing is when you went to pump or bring the bolt to the back to feed a new round, the bolt would actually snag on the top of a shot shell because it was sticking up that hard, like that high. So once I took away a lot of the material on top here, the shot shell sits low enough now that it feeds pretty reliably. The final modification I had to do is in the shotgun itself. On the bottom of the bolt carrier, Hopefully the camera will be able to pick up this. There's this leading edge. This is like the cradle that the bolt sits on. This is just from the factory. It's just a really sharp 90-degree edge. It doesn't do any damage to the stock magazines. However, I noticed on the SAP 6 mag, because the SAP 6 mag still angles up quite a bit, when closing the bolt on an empty mag, that sharp 90-degree edge in there will shave the material off of this follower. So I had to just file a little bit of a radius to that edge so it doesn't dig into the polymer follower on this mag when you just so happen to close it on an empty mag. So the first step I did is I disassembled the mag. To remove the base plate on these mags, you have to, there's 4 kind of interlocking tabs on it. And to get the base plate off, you have to pry the plastic away from the metal kind of locking things in there. I found the easiest way to do this was to jam really tiny screwdrivers in above the plastic, or in the plastic just above where it interlocks. Okay, that might be enough. Yep, so the back's out. Now the top hopefully will come out. I believe I got the top. Maybe not quite. You'll want to be careful pulling the base plate out, because of course there's going to be a big spring in there under a lot of tension. There we go. Pretty tight fit. And the follower should just fall at the bottom. So now we have just the hollowed out shell of the magazine. I'm going to prepare it for the tabs. So that's going to involve me cutting off this back piece and then thoroughly wire brushing the finish off of the mag where the silver soldering is going to happen. So we got the 2 pieces, the 2 tabs made out of just a piece of angle iron, and I have the front tab clamped to the magazine in the place I believe it needs to be welded. To determine this position, I just simply used the original mag as a reference and just held the 2 mags up next to each other and then clamped it in place. I'm just going to clamp it and get the piece tacked in place with the silver. I'm going to be using silver solder. And then once I got tacked so it won't move, I'll remove the vice grips, because I noticed that this, in order the silver solder will get pretty hot, and the weight of the vice grips can, flex the metal under the extreme heat and disform the mag. Alright, so now we got the tab silver soldered to the magazine body. I'm going to just go around with a file, clean up all the areas that shouldn't have any excess solder on it. Alrighty, so I got the mags reassembled. I did notice that one mag is holding 10 rounds and the other mag is holding 11 rounds, so I believe that might be the springs. I don't have the springs sitting in the follower quite right, so I'll have to look into that. Like I said earlier in the video, the SAP 6 mags will not hold open on the last round. That mag worked flawlessly. Okay, we do have a failure. Okay, so I'm having a failure to feed here, and I think it's probably because the follower is not lifting the front end of the shell high enough. Alrighty, so I looked closer into the mag, and I think the issue was the feed lips weren't bent right, because I noticed the shell would come forward and then it would hit on the side of the feed ramp. So I think I've corrected the problem. This is the problem mag. It's fully loaded up. We'll see if it works. There you have it. So it seems to work. So hopefully they continue the work for the next 3-gun event. I'll film that one too when that happens. Thanks for watching.